ग्लास से क्या बात है? अरे ये कहाँ से आ गया? अरे यार दूसरा ग्लास लेके आओ। We'll get started. I hope we are recording whatever we spoke. Yes.
Hey guys, welcome to one more Townhall. We should definitely call this property something very soon. We have Prashant, who's the founder of EaseMyTrip. Co-founder of EaseMyTrip. Me and also the whole team, right? Though we have raised money, we empathize with. I mean, we think like bootstrap companies.
That's how it should be.
So, me looking up to bootstrap founders is like a very common thing because you guys are heroes, right? Like or heroes
Thank you for saying it.
without capes in a way. But with that being said, man, I'm sure the whole team is here and would love to know a lot of things about you. Right now, you're running a unicorn company, which is EaseMyTrip. It's an IPO-based company. It is bootstrapped. You guys did 56 crores of profit last quarter.
I think so, yes.
How did you get to this? What was your childhood like? Were you a good student and that's what led you to do this? Or?
So we have to start from the beginning.
Yes, quickly about your childhood, where you're from, how were you as a student, backbencher or frontbencher, everything around it.
Well, till my 10th grade, I was like a very regular student. I didn't care about exams. I would always be like third or fourth in my section. I was into sports. I love sports way too much. In fact, एक बार तो डैड ने मुझे कमरे में बंद भी कर दिया था not to allow me to play.
What were you playing?
Oh well, I used to play basketball. I used to play cricket, tennis, multiple sports. But yes, I remember this particular day very well where my dad actually locked me up. मुझे 4 बजे से 7 बजे बाहर होना ही था.
अच्छा.
हाँ, from 4 to 7, चाहे धूप है, चाहे गर्मी है, चाहे बारिश है, बारिश के अकॉर्डिंग स्पोर्ट्स खेल लेते थे, फुटबॉल खेल लेते थे. But I had to play sports. So yeah, I was locked up one time. And I remember banging my head till the time it started bleeding, and then they had to open up the door.
You're kidding or?
Yeah, no, this happened. So
Okay.
I was that crazy about sports. So wasn't much into studies.
But still managed to get to 4th and 5th position in school.
3rd, 4th, yeah, mostly. But I think because of sports, IIT happened to me.
Okay.
So while playing, I can't remember which game was it, but while playing a game, I overheard 2 seniors talking about IIT, खुसपुस करके बात कर रहे थे, and they were saying कि यार IIT में तो एडमिशन नहीं होता, ये वो blah blah. मैंने बोला भैया क्या चीज़ है ये? कहता तुझसे नहीं होगा, तू जा ऐसे करके साइड कर दिया. And that day I remember I went to the bookshop, I bought couple of magazines, I bought couple of papers to read about ये क्या चीज़ है IIT?
IIT क्या है? हाँ.
IIT क्या है? And then I just took it as a personal challenge. ये तो अब करना ही है मुझे. उन्होंने मुझे ऐसे शुश कैसे कर दिया कि करना ही करना है फिर तो. Then for the 2 years I was like not seen in the sports field. In fact बहुत सारे लोग तो सोचे थे मैं मर गया हूँ. ये कैसे हो गया? ये खेलने नहीं आ रहा है.
No social media days, right?
हाँ, so people assume that Pitti is dead. मुझे पित्ती बोलते थे, प्रशांत पित्ती लास्ट में. मैंने पित्ती तो मर गया है. वो तो आता नहीं है खेलने. So but yeah, then 2 years I slogged and I studied and that's how I got into IIT.
Cool. How was IIT? When was this?
This was, oh my God, I'll have to reveal my age. So 2001 to 2005.
Okay.
So I graduated in year 2005. IIT was pretty cool, except that I wasn't at IIT most of the time. My first girlfriend was 3 years senior to me. तो उसकी job लगी थी बैंगलोर में. So,
Boys, I don't have the option anymore, but a lot of you guys still do.
So she was 3 years elder to me, and damn, this is recorded, right?
That's why we record.
So she was 3 years elder to me, and she was placed in Bangalore in some job, right? So मैं तो यहाँ से IIT देता था. I was in Bangalore, so that's
During your college?
During my college, for the second year, third year, fourth year, I was predominantly in Bangalore. I would just go over there to write exams. एंड प्रोफेसर से भीख मांगने की मुझे अटेंडेंस के चक्कर में फेल मत करना. अगर मैं जेन्युइनली फेल हो तो कर देना, बट अटेंडेंस के चक्कर में मत करना. बट या सो can't speak so much about IIT to be honest.
But I mean, like during your course, right, in Bangalore, was there an ecosystem at all then, or anything around it? Was there any feel of any vibe?
So I learned this word entrepreneurship in my 3rd year. That too कोई random वीडियो से देखा था मैंने. आईआईटी में भी तब नहीं था. आईआईटी मद्रास में तो इट वाज लाइक 95% जनता वुड जस्ट वांट टू डू द एमएस. जीआरई लिखा, एमएस किया, वहीं पे जाके यूएस में सेटल हो गए. दैट्स द कल्चर ऑफ आईआईटी मद्रास. सो there was not so much buzz around entrepreneurship at that time, except for few people who would know about it. It wasn't that much prevalent at that moment.
So I have this very typical question. You can choose not to answer, right? What is the correlation of you making it you guys making it with EaseMyTrip to you guys studying in an IIT?
Oh, none at all. None at all. In fact, if there is any, it's negative as a correlation. I can give you the reasoning why I believe
Yes,
so.
please.
In EaseMyTrip, I don't think so there is anybody from IIT or IIM except for myself. And it's almost intentional.
Okay.
For multiple reasons. This might become a little bit bigger as a controversy.
No, for sure. That's what we want. What are you saying? How many of you guys are from IITs or IIMs here?
Okay, sorry, dude. But I'm also from IIT. So I guess we actually take a lot of entitlement very seriously from IIT, and the ones who are actually coming from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, I believe they're actually the ones who were extremely smart, but they didn't care enough. Like, for example, I cared enough for those 2 years and I studied so much. But the ones who are in BITS, NITs, or other colleges, they probably were smart kids, but it's just that they didn't care enough. And hence, the frame of mind I got into during those days was I became a risk-averse person. That is why I studied so much. So, risk-averseness actually does not help in business. It's actually quite opposite in terms of business, right? It's actually negative correlation.
Yeah.
It's converse correlation. So I had to deconstruct myself and I had to learn to how to start taking risk again.
Wow. Okay.
We usually hire people who are extremely hungry to prove themselves. And that works best for us.
Awesome. Like, what kind of people do you guys hire? Like, what do you guys look at when you're hiring?
So I believe that there are 4 unique skills people have. First is integrity. And I think they are exclusive to each other.
Okay.
Integrity, hard work, curiosity, and skills, like literally skills. And if I were to place them in the rank order of how do we hire people, first is integrity, second is curiosity, third is hard work, and fourth is skill. So if somebody has high level of integrity, has abundance of curiosity, and is willing to burn the midnight oil, वो कुछ भी सीख सकता है. This is how we look at things. First has to be integrity. Somebody who's saying that, who's doing this thing, who's owning that piece, he's literally owning that piece or not. And I say this all the time that I'm a firm believer of you should be more curious than cautious in life. There's only one life, and
Very interesting.
yeah, I say this.
Can you double click on that?
Again, by being risk averse person, you're cautious, right? And caution leads you to avoid a lot of opportunities, which might take you to another scale altogether. By being cautious, you can grow incrementally in percentages. By being cautious, you can grow 10%, 15%, 20%. But by being curious, you can grow exponentially.
You can compound.
So you can compound, you can grow exponentially by being curious. So I think cautiousness should basically become your rule only when there's too much to lose, right? But in the beginning of most of the entrepreneurial journey, right?
Yeah.
There isn't that much to lose.
Sure.
And hence you should be trying to break things. And if you try things 10 different times, I'm sure most of us will have a success ratio of 1 or 2 only. 8 or 9 would actually, fall flat.
Yeah.
But to identify that 1 or 2, you must try 10 different things. And that can only happen by curiosity.
It's a very interesting line of thought. Now, when you're thinking about, it's in a way coming down to take big bold bets, right? Like, don't be like, take big bold bets to succeed. And I'm assuming that played a very important role to what EaseMyTrip is today. How did you manage to do that? When you're a freaking bootstrap company, man.
Yeah.
We shit our pants having $4 million in the bank, saying, yaar, isse itna paise ud jayega agar kaam nahi
So
kiya.
I'll tell you a very interesting story around this. So in the initial days of EaseMyTrip was a B2B company, which was basically we were serving travel agents, right? From year 2008 till 2012, we were purely serving travel agents, and business was growing tremendously. We were not making money, but business was growing rapidly.
So it's like MX.
It wasn't an MX model. There was a software which was provided to travel agents to ease their bookings of their customers. So it was a B2, B2C business. So let's say that we gave them the technology, the website to allow them to, service their customers.
Wow.
Let's put it that way, right? So that was the first version of EaseMyTrip. Now, why did that version come about? Because my 2 younger brothers, Nishant and Rikant, they actually started mom and pop travel agency called as Duke Travel Agency. in year 2006 till 2008 while I was in the US working for a bank. So we knew exactly the problems a travel agent faces. And to solve those problems, we started EaseMyTrip. That was the reason to start EaseMyTrip. So for the first 3 years, we were only and only serving travel agents. And business was growing. Like it was bootstrapped, but it was growing. I think in year
How big was the team then?
20 odd people. It was a 20 odd people in year 2011. I think we were doing gross GMV of about 180 to 250 odd crores.
Wow.
So, well, we must have met 3,000 travel agents personally ourselves. Like actually go and knock on the door and meet travel agents.
So you guys were all full-time sales development representatives.
So yes, we were the sales guys. So hence business was doing well because we were actually solving a genuine problem.
Right.
I'm not getting into what problem we were solving right now. It's an old story right now. But the point was that the business was growing, right? But we couldn't sleep properly because we knew that there will be a day when these travel agents themselves will be obsolete as the digital penetration is happening. So you're building for travel agent, but travel agency will become obsolete one day.
Doesn't have a future.
Doesn't have a future because we can see the digital revolution which is happening. So hence, even though the business was growing, we couldn't just take it very easily. And we spoke to a couple of travel agents who were like our best clients and told them that we want to do B2C. And they categorically told us that if you do B2C, if you directly target consumers, then you're cannibalizing me. And hence consider my business gone if you turn B2C. So in year 2011, we took a call knowing that 80% travel agents will leave us. We took a call that we want to become a B2C company because that's where the future is aligned.
Right.
The job of an entrepreneur is to see a decade ahead, not few years ahead.
Correct.
A job of a venture capitalist might be in the horizon of, let's say, 2 to 5 years because he wants to exit.
Yeah.
And had we had any VC on the board, they surely would not have allowed us to make this transition.
Right.
Nobody would have made. In fact, I would say that we were foolish to make this transaction because we had nothing to back us up saying that, hey, we will do okay in B2C.
Was there any competition in B2C then?
Oh, everybody was there. All the names,
Go IB Boss,
all the
everybody.
names you know, they all were there and they all had raised minimum $100 million.
By then?
By then. They all had raised minimum $100 million by then. So it was almost foolish for us to decide that we want to go to B2C. But we were very sure that this business of B2B2C is not going to last forever. So hence we had to take a call. We literally had like 5-10 lakh rupees in our bank account. And we took a call that we are stopping this from tomorrow and we are going to become a B2C company.
What happened to all those travel agents? They're all gone.
70-80% left us.
Left?
They left us. They actually left us. So our business, it's a public information. In year 2011, we did business of about 250 odd crores. In 2012, it was about 30-40 crores. GMV. So the business crashed. It came to a grinding halt with that decision. But right now, 97% of EaseMyTrip business is consumer business.
Yeah.
And all of our competition who existed back then, who were serving travel agents, do not exist anymore. So, if we had continued with the careful path of just growing slowly on the travel agent side, I wouldn't have the opportunity to talk to you right now.
Man, this is crazy. I didn't know about this.
That's what happened.
Crazy.
There's so many things you don't know.
No wonder. How did you succeed? Like I feel it's a fairy tale, right? In a market where everybody is throwing money at the problem, how did you succeed to where you are? You eventually IPO'd from 10 crores of revenue to last quarter was 2,500 crores?
No.
Quarter.
No, the entire GMV. The GMV last quarter was 2,500.
Yeah.
2,300 crores.
So that's about 10,000 crores in a year almost of GMV from 10 crores.
The annualized run rate is yes.
Yeah, annualized. And you're profitable to a very, very strong margin. How did that happen? Why did that happen? Why couldn't other people do it?
Okay, that's a question to them. Why couldn't they do it?
What is your assessment on that? No, before that, what did you guys do differently?
So let me start from year 2012 onwards, right? 2012, we became a B2C company, which means that there needs to be people who needs to come to our website and book their air tickets. 100% of EaseMyTrip business is either on our application or our website.
Correct.
So this is what we did. We actually sat in the call center ourselves and we dialed up people. And consumers. We called people. We told them that, hey, we have started EaseMyTrip and you can look up X of our competitors, they all are charging convenience fees. And we decided that we will not charge convenience fees from the day one. And because we had to have some USP, right?
Correct.
So we would call up people, we would tell them that, hey, we're not charging convenience fees. It will save you at least 200 rupees per ticket.
Correct.
That time, all these competition, they were charging 150 to 200 rupees. Now they are charging 400 to 500 rupees convenience fee. So we called up people, we tried to convince them that they should try EaseMyTrip. And some of them did try EaseMyTrip. Now, from year 2011 till 2016, if you see the growth of EaseMyTrip, it was excruciatingly slow. We grew almost 10 to 15% year on year on such a small base.
What was the base? Oh, sorry.
The base of B2C, 10 odd crore base, right? The base was so small. On that, we grew very painstakingly slow for the first 4 or 5 years. And we had no idea of what was coming. Let me also put it that way. We had no idea that people actually take this long to warm up to you. And that's the truth. There is so much which is more than maths in this entire ecosystem. We always think logically, we always think maths. Customer just wants to try you at least 2 times before he refers you to his friend. He wants to double check that am I going to be saying the right name to my friends? Are they going to live up to my reference? And hence, and in air ticket business, usually it takes, usually people book their air tickets 1 in 18 months. That's our number. We understand. So
even now?
Yeah, even now.
Okay.
An average Indian books once in 18 months for their leisure trip.
Okay.
So that's why it took us 3 to 4 years for people to start spreading the word of mouth and telling others. And that is why I believe that the growth from in the first 4 or 5 years was excruciatingly slow. But since year 2016 till today, except for pandemic year, there has been no year where EaseMyTrip has not grown above 75% year on year. Even last year, we did total business of 3,700 crore, FY22, and FY23, we did business of 8,500 crores. So
at that baseline, 70% growth.
No, 100%.
100% growth is
100%.
something
Correct.
you'd die for, I guess.
So, and I've already said this on TV, I'm looking forward to grow bare minimum 50% year on year for the next 3-4 years. Wow. Bare minimum 50%. In fact, last year I went to Anil Singhvi sir show and I told them, sir, we have done business of 3,700 crores. Next year I want to do 6,500 crores. And I was almost laughed off. Hey, what are you saying? That you're second largest and you want to double your business? Like, I'm going to come back again. So I went back to his show this time. I told him, sir, 6,500 bola tha, 8,050 crores karke aaye hain.
Kaise hua? Did you guys do anything or you just stuck to guts?
No, there are a lot of things which has happened. But that would take away from the point which you originally asked, which is that how did we grow in the beginning? So if I could continue on that particular point, and then maybe we can jump on this particular thing. So first is that the first few years, we were just extremely patient. And that is one of the learnings which I've had. You have to give people time to warm up to you. You really have to give people time. If you rush into it, people will assume that there is something wrong. You have to give people time to warm up to you before asking them for referrals, before asking them, let them try you a couple of times, do your bit, provide them value, add value in their life, and then they'll do their job by themselves. You don't have to actually even go out and ask people to refer. We only ask people to try. We never asked people to refer us. Right. In fact, in EaseMyTrip, only till last year, we never had any referral program. So we grew via word of mouth without having any referral program. Only 6 months ago, we started some referral program, that too after being listed. We had to do something related to it, but there was no referral program at EaseMyTrip, and 99% of our growth came via word of mouth because literally we didn't have money to spend on marketing. And then the other thing which happened in the entire process is that we were the only ones who actually started as a travel agency, right? So from TA, we became OTA, right? And that journey, I don't think so any of our competitors has seen. So in a business, you must realize that what is your heart and what is your soul. Many people assume heart and soul are the same. And we believe that in our business, our heart is technology, but the soul is service. The customer support, the call center, the chat is basically the soul of the business because it is, after all, a service business. And most of our competitors think that the heart and the soul is technology, and that is why all of our competitors have outsourced their call center. We are the only ones who run our call center by ourselves. Ourselves. And to know the soul of your business is extremely important. See, if you really believe that the soul of the business is service, then why would you ever outsource that?
Correct.
You want to control that to the best capabilities you can, right? You can never outsource your soul to outside. The heart is technology, I agree on that, because that's the machine which is running everything. That's pumping blood everywhere. But the soul is your customer service. And for us, better pricing by not charging convenience fees and better service by running call centers ourselves led to extremely high retention rate. Our repeat transaction rate is 93%. That means if you start using EaseMyTrip, 93% of the likelihood that you will not stop using EaseMyTrip.
And you almost have zero CAC.
Our CAC is, well, now we are spending 40, 50 odd crores on annual basis on marketing. My competitor spends almost 1,000 plus.
That's 2% of your revenue, right?
Yes. And I'll share one small hack around over here. Around, since this is the growth, team, right? So EaseMyTrip's biggest USP is we don't charge convenience fees, right? As I mentioned multiple times. Open up EaseMyTrip.com right now or check our application. You would not find this very fact written anywhere that we don't charge convenience fees. Many founders think that this is very oxymoronic. भैया जो सबसे बड़ा USP उसका तो billboard होना चाहिए, right? But we don't. We don't publicize this fact that we don't charge convenience fees, even though this is the biggest USP why people are coming inside EaseMyTrip.
Why?
So we have done some A/B testing as well around over here, and I'll tell you where we have come to a conclusion that if you truly have something special by your side, it's better to let people only talk about it. See, if I go on television and I tell people I don't charge convenience fees, what are you guys going to think? You're going to say, कुछ और charge करता होगा, कहीं और से काटता होगा, business है, उसका तो काम ही है पैसा बनाना, right? If I go and beat my drum to say that I don't charge convenience fees, everybody will assume कहीं और से बनाता है पैसा, पैसा तो बनाएगा और बनाते भी हैं. But if your friend tells your friend that why are you using XYZ, they charge convenience fees, EaseMyTrip is anyways cheaper because they don't charge convenience fees, he doesn't have any agenda to sell EaseMyTrip, right? He's actually doing it very altruistic way. So which pitch would you believe more? My pitch or my friend's pitch? And people always propagate things which they think they only know. Why would in a party you would go out and say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4? You would never say that, right? If it's a public information, then you would not propagate it. By eluding ourselves to talk about it, we are giving opportunity to our customers to talk about it.
Basically, your proposition all of a sudden has become brag-worthy for people to talk about.
People to talk about. Absolutely. By not talking about it ourselves, by letting it grow under the flow, we have allowed EaseMyTrip to actually grow much faster. In fact, marketing might not have worked out for us.
I totally, I think, I don't know if this was the plan or this worked out this way, but the reason...
It worked out this way. Now I can sit and say that, hey, we knew it all. But hindsight is always 20/20. Yeah. For us, a lot of things which has happened in EaseMyTrip, they happened because we were actually resource constrained. Many people, in fact, the other day I was asked on a stage that, don't you think that you might not have been innovated as much just because you never had money? And my answer was, it's actually completely opposite. When you have too much money, then you can throw money at the problem to solve it. You're not solving it by first principles.
Yeah.
Like for example, one of the big reasons to EaseMyTrip's little success, whatever we have achieved, is basically our people, right? Now, we get this question a lot that how did you manage to hire top talent without having money, right?
I had that question too.
Okay, so ask me.
No, the reason why I asked that is because, initially when we were trying to hire, and our LinkedIn posts and all went up saying that we are hiring and all, the keyword search for GrowthSchool funding just skyrocketed, and we hadn't even publicized about our funding then.
Correct. So people were searching.
Yeah, the moment
that are you guys funded or not?
Yes.
I understand that. So imagine us be in our shoes in year 2012, 13, 14, 15, right? Where all of our competitors are growing money, are raising money left and right, are creating bigger and bigger brand value by being on television, by hiring Salman Khan and other stars, right? So we went through a lot of insecurity. There's no denying on that part.
Do you think of raising something?
We tried in year 2008. The first thing which I did after coming back from US was, after my IIT, I was working for a couple of banks in the US. I was directly hired to work over there. Quit my job, moved back to India. The first thing I did was I actually came to Bangalore and I met 4 or 5 VCs. And
would you like to name them now?
No. No point burning any bridges.
Yeah.
But yes, met 4 or 5 of them, and honestly speaking, they were right in the assessment that we should not be funded. I can even go on and say that they were right in the assessment. We exist because of our hustle. We should not have existed. We should not. If there are 8 competitors, all of them losing money, have raised tons of money.
Till now.
They have not made money till now.
Yeah.
Even then, they were not making money, right? So imagine how would a venture capitalist hand out a check to a newbie to say that, hey, I'm going to be one among many. And they are already 8, and they already had picked their bets, right?
Right.
So they were only 7, 8 VCs. Somebody had picked their bet in this or that or that. So why would they invest?
Right.
So it's not even that I got an opportunity to meet them the second time to tell them more. We were like clearly shut off in the first one, and I knew that ye nahi ho payega. So I started meeting travel agents, in Bangalore city. I'm like, ye to nahi ho pa raha, kuch to dhanda karke jate hain. So met bunch of travel agents afterwards. But yeah, so we did try in year 2008, 2009.
But when you were growing, you went to B2C. And
so B2C business didn't
14,
grow
15,
as much
16.
from, let's say, from year 2012 to 2015, right?
Yes.
It didn't grow as much, so didn't get that much traction. But 2017, 18, we got a lot of traction from the VCs, where a bunch of them had actually come to our office in those days. But again, what narrative was that we were growing and we were growing profitably.
Right.
We started growing and we started growing profitably. So I remember we got a lot of term sheets where they wanted to put money in the company, and they were expecting us to grow faster by burning a lot of cash, by giving a lot of discount, by painting the town red, by basically, propagating EaseMyTrip, by spending money on marketing. And we were not comfortable with that. We thought that, hey, if we are already growing by 100% while growing profitably, why should we become a loss-making company?
Sure.
There's a very thin line between exponential growth and a decent growth plus profitable growth. So we chose that part, and we were okay if anybody wanted to invest in EaseMyTrip, provided that we would take your money and we would put that in FD. So nobody was okay with that.
Of course.
So that's why, things didn't happen afterwards.
Today, 2023, if you had to do a hard reset and you have to start a EaseMyTrip again, do you think it's possible without VC money?
Now?
Yeah.
See, maybe I don't have the market understanding to how to begin right now. But I think it's going to be extremely challenging for multiple reasons. Now there is so much noise around so many different things. To get attention of somebody is extremely difficult. It's not just the OTA, right? There are so many bespoke holiday companies which have come in. So you may have a chance to build a bespoke holiday company, right? Rather than a plain vanilla OTA at this particular moment. The people are so much educated. And then the CACs these days are crazy, right? If you're seeing an advertisement on Facebook or Instagram, EaseMyTrip is not only competing with MakeMyTrip. EaseMyTrip is also competing with Flipkart, you guys, Byju's, everybody. So because the ad spot is just that much, right? There are only a handful amount of people. India has only 50 million people who can actually spend money.
15 or 50?
50.
Okay.
India has only 50 million of people who can actually spend. The total number of flyers India has ever had is about 8 crores. The unique flyers are 80 million. However, not all of them are bookers.
Yeah.
So 80 million are the flyers.
What are the total number of people who have booked off EaseMyTrip?
Bookers, at EaseMyTrip, we have had about 18 million people who have used EaseMyTrip. The total number of bookers, basically you would book for your parents. So they are flyers, but you are a booker.
Yes.
And hence you count on internet. Your parents may not count on internet. So the total number of bookers, I think this country has about 50 million.
So 5 crore people in the country can afford to fly.
Can afford to fly.
Or want to fly.
Well, can afford to make them or their parents or their loved ones fly.
Yes.
And I believe that as an OTA, we actually have the database which probably represents the best of the India. Because the ones who can fly can spend money on other things, and the ones who can spend money on other things can fly. It's actually directly correlated.
What is the next scope? Like every time we think about, I think totally echo with the perspective, right? Because I also believe like when we do our understanding of how big is the market, I feel it's 25 million people
I would
at
agree.
tops for
Yeah.
growth school.
For growth school, yes.
Yeah. It'll be even smaller if
Yeah,
we
I
just
think
talk
you might
about
be
the
overestimating.
categories. Yeah, it'll be even small if I just talk about the categories that we are active in.
Correct.
No, but the more we think about this, we realize that boss international करना पड़ेगा, बाहर जाना पड़ेगा. And I know that you guys have started the work already. How is that? How is the GTM been for India versus international for you guys?
So, I'll have to set the context for
Yes,
everybody
please.
to listen. So basically, EaseMyTrip is growing rapidly in India. We are the second largest travel portal. Only about a year ago, we decided that let's try international market. So we have opened up EaseMyTrip.ae, which is
Middle
basically
East.
for Middle East market. Then we have opened up EaseMyTrip.uk for European market and EaseMyTrip.us for the US market, serving their people for their travel need, not just the Indians who are Indian diaspora who's living over there, but serving the locals. So EaseMyTrip.ae is basically in Arabic and you can pay in dirhams. The thought process was that we are clearly the most cost efficient OTA in India. And given that we will continue to operate out of India, even for the other geographies, we can surely beat the other incumbent players which are based in the developed nations, which is the Middle East, the Europe, and the US. These are the areas where we're targeting. So with that thought process, we opened up these websites. So first launch was EaseMyTrip.ae. The incumbent players over there are charging anywhere between 800 to 2000 rupees per passenger as service fees or convenience fee. While we are charging shunya, zero. And within the first year, we did total business of 118 crores. Zero marketing spent. And it's already profitable within the first year. This is how the business is growing, and we look forward to replicating this. In fact, now we have gone to an extent where we are appointing CEOs and MDs for different geographies. We
saw that tweet. Yeah.
We recently appointed Samir Begul as the MD for our Middle East business. So, see, we are a digital good company, right? You know, we are not sending any package. All we have to do is send an email with the ticket copy, be it for bus, be it for train, be it for hotel. We have to send a ticket copy, right? So, hence, in fact, now we feel like we were stupid to not to do this early. Because there's a huge cost advantage which we have. Firstly, if we are beating the best of the best in India because of our cost advantages. See, EaseMyTrip's success is not that we don't charge convenience fees, but our success is that we can afford to not charge convenience fees.
How do you make money? That's a question now. Convenience fee nahi hai, profitable ho. Like, how are you making money?
How can I say this publicly? I mean, no, yeah. I mean, we get commissions from the airlines. We get commissions from the GDS. Whenever you're using your HDFC card, let's say you're getting 3% additional discount, 700 rupees का coupon लगा हुआ है. So half the money comes from the bank, half the money we pitch in. So hence in the revenue, half of their money would show, right?
Yeah.
So these are and then the cancellation fees, we make some money. And we also charge convenience fees if you're using a coupon. If not using a coupon, then we don't charge convenience fees. If you're using a discount coupon, we also charge convenience fees. And there's a logic for that. We were not doing this till year 2018, but हमारे कान पक गए थे सुन कि हमारा competitor 1000 rupees off दे रहा है और हम 700 रुपए off दे रहे हैं. Well, we were equal, right? Because they would charge 300 rupees convenience fees later on. वो कहते हैं यार आपके पास तो कूपन ही अच्छे नहीं होते.
1000 rupees ले लो.
हमने कहा तू भी 1000 ले ले. 1000 rupees ले ले, मैं भी 300 रुपए ऐड कर दूंगा नीचे. So if you're using a discount coupon, I would charge convenience fees just for this particular logic. But still, about 75 to 80% of all our transactions are zero convenience fees because coupons are not available all the time. So yes, the success is basically in our organizational strength. And I was coming over there. In fact, we kind of are derouted from there. In year 2012, from 2012 to 2016, EaseMyTrip primarily hired people in their call centers, only in call centers.
How big is the team apart from call center?
Well, right now we have about 1,000 odd people, of which about 500 would be in call center and 500 would be non-call center, which is everything, technology, marketing, everything, right? Now, our strategy was, and this strategy also is not on the basis of how clever we were, it's just that this was the only way we could have done it. So basically, we hired people in call centers. And then basically, if somebody is doing really well in the call center, we would measure the NPS for each individual. If somebody is doing really well, we would give them an option to upgrade to either marketing department or product department or sales department or even technology for that matter. And they would have to train themselves and come back. which is why I think what you guys are doing an amazing job, because most of our people, they just self-train themselves. There was no degree or anything, right? They just self-trained because they had this innate motive in themselves to grow from a blue-collar employee to a white-collar employee.
Collar, yeah.
See, nobody would ask you directly upfront that what kind of salaries are you drawing. They would judge you on the basis of the position you have in a company. So, and it makes so much of a difference between saying that I'm a call center executive versus I'm a product manager in a company, right? And hence, it's elevating their social status. And which is why people really were extremely motivated to perform in the call center, because they knew that they have a different road plan ahead if they actually perform well in our call centers, which worked extremely well for our organization. So instead of paying, let's say, 2.5 lakhs to a growth marketer who's coming from outside, we would pay our call center executive who has joined the marketing team, let's say 60,000, 70,000 rupees per month. So we have upgraded him, but he's performing in the company and their loyalties are unwavering. I would say that 100 people whom we have upgraded, only 2 or 3 have left the company, and they're still with the organization and they're growing along with the organization. In fact, our VP Tech, our technology VP comes from our call center. Yeah.
How? Growth school bhi nahi tha tab.
Good pitch, but yes. But no, yeah, this is what I'm saying, that, you know, if you have high integrity, if you have high curiosity, if you're willing to work hard, skills can be learned. Any skill can be learned. And this is why if you have all the first 3, the 4th is not a problem for a person who has the first 3 things.
Phew, that was quite something. Any questions from the floor before I move on to a few more?
One of the things that you said, while going international, you launched in 4 countries, 4 continents or whatever, and there was 0 ad spend or 0 spend. So what was your major focus? Was SEO one of the ways which helped you to get traction there? Like, how did people get to know that EaseMyTrip has gone international?
So yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what our hypothesis was and how badly it failed. So our hypothesis was that, hey, we are going to launch, we started with Middle East, right? We thought that we are going to launch in Middle East. We are going to put ourselves on the various meta search engines, Kayaks, Google, and people will see that EaseMyTrip.ae exists now and they're going to click. But the thing is that convenience fees is always added in the last page. Hence, on Kayaks, on Skyscanners, on Google, you would see EaseMyTrip.ae along with the other competitors, but then there won't be any price difference because, they would add convenience fees on the last page. Hence, the prices would be the same. And hence, for the first 2 months, nobody used EaseMyTrip.ae. And this was our hypothesis and it failed. We said, yeah, log dekhenge EaseMyTrip.ae and they'll click. And then they'll go through to see that we don't charge convenience fees. But that didn't happen. So, but then we had already invested 2-3 months of our time in launching it. So, aise to chhodenge nahi. So, this is what we did. So, we went to one of the biggest banks in Middle East. And I met the chairman of that biggest bank in the Middle East without naming them. And we told them that please look at this company, which is the #1 OTA in Middle East. And please look at EaseMyTrip.ae. And please compare 100 times. And 100 times you will find us cheaper. Because we're not charging convenience fees. So they did their homework and they came back to us and saying, yes, you're right, but what can we do? So this is what we offer to them. And exclusivity has tremendous amount of power, and we have literally abused power of exclusivity in EaseMyTrip 100 times. But this is one of the lessons.
What do you mean? Like,
I'm explaining that now.
I'm intrigued.
So to that bank, we offered that for the first 3 months, only your card holders will be able to use EaseMyTrip.ae. Please send emails, please spread the word. Only your card holders will be able to use EaseMyTrip.ae. Nobody else will be able to use EaseMyTrip.ae, which will be an additional benefit for your card holders because it's cheaper always. So they did their bit. They spread the word of mouth. They sent the emails. They sent SMSs. They sent WhatsApp messages to their customer base to try EaseMyTrip.ae. So our growth was, first month we did total business of about 80 lakhs. Second month, 1.2 crores. And the third month, when this exclusivity contract was over, it was 6 crores, then 12 crores. This is how it grew. So you just need to seed it to the right sources of people. So again, zero money spent, and we give exclusivity and power to one particular bank to enjoy it. and that's how the business grew.
So all the rest of the banks and people were FOMO'd.
So when the word went out that only this particular, see, again, people want to brag, right? They want to say that, hey, I saved $2,000 today, you know how, by using this bank's card. So they also got a lot of benefit, right? Advantages along with that. But this is how we grew EaseMyTrip.ae.
Did you have the concept of, for your people before IPO, did you have concept of ESOPs or anything inside of the company?
So till the time we went IPO, we also were not sure of what our valuation should be, right? We were a bootstrap company, so we had no idea. In fact, there's another story around it.
Yes.
So till year 2020, we were just running a bootstrap company, 100% owned by us. So we didn't know what value what exists in the company. We did go public, and we raised about 520 odd crores by selling 25% of our shares. So our EaseMyTrip IPO was also where we did not take money in the company. So company is still bootstrapped, because at that time also company had 200 crores in the bank, which was the profit which we had accumulated over the period of 12 years. So at IPO as well, we did not need money in the company, because वो पैसा भी FD में ही पड़ा हुआ है. So we sold 25% of our shares, and hence the company is still bootstrapped even till today. So after IPO, this is what we did. We called it as Operation Tuesday. We did something where for all of our employees, all 800, we had about 800 odd employees at that moment. Tuesday at 11:59 a.m., everybody got some money from us.
Okay.
From the range of, it could start from, let's say, 2 lakh, and it could go up to 20 crores. And without them knowing, everybody got a ping on their SMS at the same time. At the same time, while they all were in the office. And they're saying, what? And this was our way to give back. And then we did ESOP. So now we have an ESOP policy. But till that time, we didn't have the ESOP, but we gave back to people.
So all the 25% that you sold was
a lot of that went back to our employees.
So in a way, they didn't have ESOPs, but
yeah, they cashed out. That was the plan, that we have to honor who have made us succeed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Insane. Wow.
The competitors knew that this value prop was working, not charging convenience fee. What was stopping them from going to the same model, like bottom line, top line? How was it affecting them?
So, good thing for us is that all of them were anyways always in losses. So, so had they copied a strategy of not charging convenience fees, they would be in further losses. So hence nobody could take that action knowingly that this is working for us. So as I said, the value proposition of EaseMyTrip is that we can afford to not charge convenience fees. And I can confidently say that there is no other OTA in the world who can sustain without convenience fees. Not just in India, because now we are looking at the worldwide landscape. There is no other OTA in the world which can sustain without charging convenience fees. And that has happened primarily because of running our call center and growing people out of our call centers.
Fixed cost stayed low.
Our businesses, employee cost, marketing cost, discount cost are fraction compared to our competition. Because so if I could tell you the virtuous circle which is making EaseMyTrip click, is it starts with zero convenience fees. People come in because zero convenience fees. Then we provide services by ourselves, and hence better service. By running our own call centers, we provide better service. So better price, zero convenience fees, better service by running our call center leads to very high retention rate. My retention rate, as I said, is 93%. High retention rate allows me not to spend money on marketing. See, if I'm second largest just by my current customer base, I don't have a pressure to do a lot of marketing. So low marketing plus very tightly knit ship of running a very frugal organization, low marketing plus frugal operations leads to profitability. And profitability allows me to not charge convenience fees. So this is the circle which is going around since last 10 years for EaseMyTrip.
It's their growth loop. Insane.
From investor perspective, you can choose not to answer. If you are not charging a convenience fees, what is the percentage difference in the revenue or the bottom line that EaseMyTrip is losing out compared to other competitors?
That's a great question. So for example, last year we did total about 1.5 crore tickets, right? My competitors are charging 400 rupees per passenger as convenience fees. 20% of my tickets also have convenience fees, as I said, because of the coupon.
Coupons, yes.
So hence, of 1.5 crores, let's remove that 20%. Let's just say 1 crore. 1 crore tickets were booked on EaseMyTrip without convenience fees. Now just imagine if I start charging 200 rupees as convenience fees. Just 200 rupees convenience fees. Tomorrow I go and add 200 rupees convenience fees on EaseMyTrip portal. My last year EBITDA was 180 crores. I would immediately add 200 crores more in my profit, just on a click of a button. So that's the power we have, but there is a reason why we are not doing it. We get this question a lot, that if you can do it, then why are you not doing it? Because there's a huge difference between zero convenience fees and some convenience fees. And I'll explain why. If you divide 400 by 0, it's infinite. If you divide 400 by 200, it's half, right? Now, people would come out smarter by saying that EaseMyTrip charges zero convenience fees, use it. But people would come out cheaper if they say EaseMyTrip charges less convenience fees compared to the others. You understand? There's very thin line of difference between being smart and being cheap. And that is why we believe there's a huge difference between zero convenience fees and some convenience fees. And we are growing at 50% year on year, right? So I may add certain percentage as a convenience fees in the future only when my growth is in single digits. So that is when I probably might add to make tons of money. I may add, let's say 50 rupees, 100 rupees as convenience fees at that moment. And at that moment as well, I will still be better. When everybody has formed the habit of using EaseMyTrip, I would still be better compared to my competitors because they're charging 500 or 600 rupees by then as convenience fees.
Okay, I want to go little divergent from the topic that we're speaking about. What is your take on the macroeconomic situation that we are around? Markets are screwed up.
In what sense?
Across, like publics and also like investor markets.
No, that's a good thing for EaseMyTrip.
It's a good thing for EaseMyTrip.
That's a good thing for EaseMyTrip. We grow fastest when there is not enough liquidity in the market. Well, my competitors are not able to raise money. So at these moments, you know, these are the moments when we grow the fastest, right? When there's not enough liquidity, my competitors, they become extremely conservative. They remove their discounts, they stop their marketing. And this is the time when we can actually throw punches by both of our hands. This is the best time for EaseMyTrip to grow. And I'm sorry, but we wish that the liquidity doesn't come. But you know, it works for us. I'm sorry. It works
but when do you foresee? How do you foresee the market? Because I'm seeing. I mean,
I'll tell you the reason. Yeah, it is flipping now.
Yeah.
And as a public listed company, I can see it's all trickling from top to bottom, right? What has happened is, you know, in the last 2 years, about 10-15 odd internet companies went public.
Correct.
And unfortunately, barring EaseMyTrip, none of them have performed as much as market expected to. We got listed at a valuation of 2,000 crores, and right now EaseMyTrip is valued at 7,500 crores. So hence, whoever invested in EaseMyTrip had made 3.5 times money in 2 years' time. You were one of our shareholders. Thank you. You should thank me.
Still am.
Well, anyways, so what has happened is that, and this is not just India phenomena, this is worldwide phenomena, that internet stocks have taken a beating.
Right.
Now, as that reverses, the Series A's, the Series B's will rise better. This is because the investor who's putting money in right now in Series A's or seed rounds or B round, he's not seeing a final outcome come better at the listing time. That markets are not reciprocative. So I believe that, and things are changing very rapidly. We have a tremendous amount of respect for the companies who have went public. Besides EaseMyTrip, maybe they were not well understood. And as their story flips, the things are going to grow dramatically.
What's your take on AI? Will AI take over? Will all the jobs be gone?
So it's not just my take, right? Even the founder of OpenAI, Sam Altman, he recently said that the current base on which ChatGPTs are built, which is basically transformer neural network, they can only do so much. And what has happened is that they have already trained them on millions of database, right? Now, by adding more training, it's not going to lead to extreme amount of different outcomes. In fact, it's only going to add to the cost. So his perspective as well is that to find a newer breakthrough, we will have to find a newer technology altogether. So hence, it's almost starting from the scratch. This is almost to the cusp of where we can get maybe one more
with
version.
large language models.
With a large language model. This is to the cusp of we have come. But however, This has created an ecosystem where a lot of research has begun again.
Right.
To create different kinds of language models, to create different kinds of neural networks. And that might lead to something, another path-breaking technology might come from the newer research which is happening. So from ChatGPT side, I think it's a great tool. I'm assuming that for you guys as well, it would come into play related to teaching coding or related to content writing, creative writing, across, right?
Yeah.
But for AGI to happen, which is basically, you know AGI, right? For AGI to happen, it is not expected that AGI will come out of ChatGPT. It is clearly not expected. And hence for, AIs to take over the world, which is the AGI to happen, I think we are still far away.
It is taking away a few jobs for sure.
New jobs will be created. See, in 1980s, when calculator was invented, a lot of professors, maths professors, they went on strike, right? Saying that, hey, the students are going to get dumber. But that's not what happened, right? It just became part of your tool. So similarly, AI will become part of your tool, and hence you will do slightly higher level jobs. I don't think so. Eventually, it will take away jobs. It will create more jobs, which were not existent right now.
Evolution will happen.
Correct.
Man, slightly because a lot of young people here, before I open that up again, what is your advice for people in the early 20s, 30s, like based on everything that you have done so far? One advice.
That's too much of summarization, but I'll try my best. Yeah, again, I would say that these are the founding years of your career, and the best thing you could do is bet on your future self. I'll explain how. So assume that you know that you're talented, right? And assume that 10 years from now, you will have certain net worth. Let's say you can bet on yourself that I will have a net worth of 100 crores, okay? In the future myself, even though I stumble upon multiple times, I will make this big for myself. This is the concept which I learned for myself and I'm sharing with you. Why can't you borrow from your future self some amount, some conviction? Say that, hey, my net worth is going to be 100 crores. Let me borrow 5 crores right now from my future self and feel like at least I have that much amount of comfort with me, and let me bet on myself by doing something new. Borrow from your future self. If you really believe that you are going to be somebody, borrow from your future self. Imagine that you are at that place, and borrowing is not money. By borrowing, I mean conviction. Feeling that मेरे पास इतना तो पैसा है ही ना, 5 करोड़ तो आज के पास है ही है, वो future वाले ने मुझे दे दिया. So let me try, let me experiment, let me do new things, let me do crazy things, and you never know, one of them might click.
So basically, look at it on a long-term perspective.
Correct.
Rather than short-term perspective.
Anything takes time to be built. It's a 10-year journey. Anything which is worthy of its attention, takes a decade to be built. And hence, you have to bet for your future self 10 years from now.
Based on everything that you have done so far, 14 years at EaseMyTrip, right? 15 years at EaseMyTrip. Couple of things, couple of advices for me, because we're just getting started.
Patience. As
वही तो नहीं है.
Patience. You gotta have patience, man. You would be surprised how the market flips for you. Like, as I said, that year 2016 onwards, we grew 75% year on year, right?
Yeah.
And before we were growing 10, 15, 20% year on year. Now, if you ask me, pinpoint what was the thing which happened in year 2016, the answer is nothing.
Inflection.
The answer is nothing. I mean, maybe it's just that the funding season dried at that time. But otherwise as well, I can't say exactly what was it. We were continuously bettering our product, right? It's not that 2016 something monumental happened. It's just that, you have no idea what the future lies and how people flip and change immediately. It's an inflection point and it takes time to reach there.
Yeah.
And hence have that amount of trust in your future self. Why will you have patience? If you truly believe that this is going to go somewhere.
Yes.
Let's say if you have that innate strong belief that GrowthSchool 20 years from now will beat every other edtech company. And if you have that strong belief, then why can't you say that 15 साल की जगह 20 साल लग जाएगा? क्या बड़ी बात है? Right? It's okay. I mean, we are not dying that quickly, right? So it's fine. So
we're in no hurry.
We are in no hurry. So if you have that innate amount of confidence in your product, then I believe that confidence comes to have some patience. It comes alongside.
No, I think it's a very fair advice. And I've got this from the best of people like you. And this is truly something that we inculcate and propagate across the team as well. राइट जल्दी क्या जल्दी पड़ी है हो जाएगा
So जल्दी क्या है एक अलग प्रॉब्लम है. If there are things to be solved, you must solve it today.
या ऑफ कोर्स
जैसा गीता में कहता है भाई कर्म करो फल की इच्छा मत करो. Do your job to the best capabilities you can do today, but don't be in rush to see the results. That's the patience I'm saying. I'm not saying that आज जो काम करना वो कल कर लेंगे. वो वाला patience नहीं कह रहा हूँ.
The pandemic time, right? It was a terrible headwind for the travel industry. So, I just want to take a look at behind the scenes. Like Airbnb did home experiences and try to stream. Did you think, okay, I should do some crazy pivot to survive, or what were you thinking at that point in time?
No, great question. So, of course, you're absolutely right. During the pandemic times, travel industry was the hardest hit industry. It came to a grinding halt. But, our business fundamentals were so strong that in the first quarter, which is April, May, June of 2020, April and May, there was zero business, right? Everything was grinding halt. But June, there was some business. In June itself, whatever business we did, we broke even for that quarter as well. So the company broke even without firing anyone. The company broke even in the first pandemic quarter. This is how resilient EaseMyTrip is, that even pandemic could not take us down. Now, the crazy thing which we did was actually in the first week of April. And I think this is probably why in the June we did so much amount of business that the company broke even in the entire quarter. So in April 2020, we realized that we were getting a lot of calls from customers who were stuck somewhere and they needed their refund to use that money and go to their home place via some जुगाड़. कोई टैंकर में बैठ के जा रहा था, कोई कैसे जा रहा था, right? So they all needed some money to go to their places, to go to their hometowns. But however, the money is not with us. If you book your air ticket, the money comes to us and we give it to the airlines or we give it to the hotels. So the money resides with the principal, not with the intermediary. So neither us nor our competitors, none of us had the money at that moment, the customer's money. And nobody was giving refund because we were not getting money from the principal first. But at that time, we decided that this might be an opportunity to do something crazy. So as I said, that we had about 200 crores sitting in our bank account as a profit, which we accumulated for the past 12 years. That time it was 12 years. We decided that we will use this money to give to customers as refund even before we got money from the airlines. It was a huge gamble because imagine if any of those airlines went bankrupt.
Yeah.
If they go bankrupt, if the hotels go bankrupt, then there was a high likelihood that they might go bankrupt. But if they go bankrupt, then the money which we have given to the customer is not coming back. And they are not going to give us the money. Hence, that money is lost. But the thought process at that moment was, अगर कोविड की वजह से मरना ही है तो पैसों का क्या करोगे और नहीं मरेंगे तो पैसे वापस आ जाएंगे. So that was the thought process, and so we kept only 20 crores in our bank and we gave it all. In fact, not just to the customers. We called up the airlines and said that आप भी काफी परेशानी में हो, मैं कुछ advances दे दूं. So airlines thought that are we nuts? All of our competitors were calling, asking for money. While EaseMyTrip was calling airlines and saying, can we give you some money? You must be in troubled times right now. तुम्हारे इतने staff है, हम कुछ पैसे दे दें. And that built crazy amount of relationship for EaseMyTrip with the customers and with the airlines, because everybody remembers you when you are at your lowest and you come out to rescue them. Everybody remembers you. So हमने customers को मेरे ख्याल से 110 करोड़ रुपए दिए थे और 70-80 करोड़ रुपए हमने airlines को दे दिए थे. And we kept very little amount in our bank account, and that created, in fact, we were the third largest OTA in India prior to pandemic, and right after pandemic we became second largest OTA because of this.
It's crazy.
No, I think it's not something which should be an exception. I think as an entrepreneur, our job is to find opportunity in the trouble times. Worrying तो हर कोई करता है, डर तो हर किसी को लगता है ना. So as an entrepreneur, our job is actually to find opportunity in trouble times. और वहाँ की opportunity massive growth देके जाती है.
So I have two questions. One is relative to, like, the team is very young, I'm very young, and on the path to build my career. So how do you look at career? How do you build a successful career, and how do you look at things when things are moving so fast and you also want to have a high growth career, right? So for a journey of 10 years, how do you look at that, and what is your perspective?
So I may say things which
नहीं,
may relate to you or may relate to GrowthSchool,
Yes,
but
please.
I'll share my advice. I strongly believe that first you have to identify what are you going after. There are three unique things which you can get in life: money, fame, and power. And they all are very different, by the way. Money, fame, and power. So first identify what is your first priority, what is your second priority, because third you will not get. There are very few people in this world, except let's say Elon Musk. There are very few people in the world who can have all three. See, power is something like an IAS officer. Doesn't have money, doesn't have fame. People don't know IAS officer, right? But has tremendous amount of power. Police officer, IAS officers, politicians have fame and power. I hope they don't have money. They're not supposed to have money, right? And similarly, businessmen, right? As a businessman, you would optimize, let's say, for money and power. I believe that most of the businessmen should not optimize for fame. I really believe that, India is still a socialist country. People really do not like people to have all three things. So, people would want to drag you down one way or the other. So hence, first know in your career, what are you optimizing for? And only if you know exactly what you want 10 years from now, right? Then only you can go after it. If you want, let's say, fame, then you got to be more of an influencer. Start with being influencer, start doing podcasts. And I'm speaking holistic career, right? I'm not speaking just your job career. I'm speaking holistically. So first know what exactly who you are. See, I believe that बहुत सारी चीजें ना वो translation नहीं हो पाता है. सत्य का कोई इंग्लिश में वर्ड नहीं है. सत्य is not truth. Satya is not fact. Satya is like Ram Naam Satya, right? It's a whole another Satya. So what's your Satya? You have to know inside. You have to dig inside to know कि मेरा सत्य क्या है? Who I want to be? Or once you get to know that Satya, most of the answers will fall very easily. And hence, the digging is actually more inside than asking outside. So you have to find that Satya for yourself of who you are. Eventually, what should be said in your obituary is what you have to find. And then you will find these answers very easily. Then it's a no-brainer, honestly.
Even if you are building for that low-paying audience, still you can be a profitable business.
Absolutely. See, businesses are done only for two purposes, according to me. One is to serve your customers really well. And second, to do it profitably so you can serve them for a long period of time. तीसरा purpose नहीं होता business करने का. आपका जो VC money है, this is a good money to solve your teething problems. But eventually, profitability will decide the longevity of a business. Only profitability decides the longevity of business. So if you want to serve your customers really well and you want to serve them over a period of time, you have to be profitable. So there is no getting around that fact. I am a very firm believer of to do everything for profit. Everything for profit. Because if you want to do something big, you need to have, out of 100 people you pitch, you need to have 90 people to say yes to you, right? Non-profit में नहीं होता है. Non-profit में ये तुम्हारे 100 में से एक आदमी तुम्हारे साथ जुड़ जाएगा, 2 आदमी जुड़ जाएंगे. And hence, to make it big, it's going to be extremely difficult. For example, let's say, and I can even say that there are multiple things which are done non-profit right now, but can be actually made business out of. For example, let's just say that you want to teach underprivileged kids. Now, government has to do something around it, but let's just say that right now you're raising money to teach underprivileged kids. Okay? How can you do this for profit? For example, tomorrow you can say that, hey, I'm going to teach these kids for free, but all their future earnings, I will get 10%. It's not allowed by government right now. But let's just say that if government allows it, then suddenly this thing becomes so lucrative, right? Suddenly you will start seeing billions of dollars put into teaching those underprivileged kids. And suddenly you will see there's a massive change. So hence, I believe whatever you do as a non-profit can be turned into profit, provided government and ecosystem supports it. So, that's my take on various things.
If you were running Growth School, based on whatever you know, how would you run it? अभी तो एक राउंड रेस कर चुके हैं, so investors को पैसे वापस दो करके मत बोलो. From now on, how would you run it?
So you have raised 5 mil, right? See, I have a very strong say in the education side. Indian parents are crazy about getting their kids the best capable education they can, and in India we have a very strong value system around education.
Correct.
Right? So I believe this is a business to make money, and I would just try to focus on profitability at any cost. This is what my focus would be. Profitability at any cost, and then grow profitably from there onwards. I mean, that's the flavor of the season anyways. So there's no new advice which I'm giving you right now. But that's just who I have been. I have been this person since last 15 years to talk about it. The market is saying only since last 2 years. I've been saying it for last 15 years that profitability is the only ultimate metrics of your longevity.
Yeah.
And if you can't be long enough, you will not grow enough. Let me also put it that way. Customers will think that, hey, you made AI anytime. And hence, why should they use your services? So profitability also leads to high growth, which many people don't understand.
Do you invest in startups?
I did. I invested in a lot of startups, and I think I am better as a business operator than as an investor. And not to say anything wrong about the companies I've invested in. They are great companies, but most of the companies I've invested in was for my personal benefit to learn something out of it. So, I was investing not for the returns, but I was investing to get
Access to the person
and get to learn a lot from that particular person. And hence, I would invest money mostly in the things which I'm completely unaware of. So a lot of my money went into hardware because of which. And then later on, people patted me and said, "Hey, क्या कर रहा है? Hardware में पैसा नहीं बनता है." I'm like, "Yeah, मैं तो सीखने के लिए पैसा लगा रहा था." So no, but I still do invest. But these days, I'm also starting another company. I'm starting an NBFC. So I'm starting an NBFC to serve the MSME business owners, which is basically micro businesses, to lend them money anywhere between 2 lakh to 20 lakh, unsecured, no collateral. I'm starting that particular business. It's a high impact business, for profit, clearly.
Are you raising money for that?
No, right now, no. So it's a high impact business, and I'm starting that business most likely out of Bangalore. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm not poaching. I'm not saying anything. I don't need any growth people right now. But yes, 30% of India's GDP is coming from MSMEs, right? And I want to be part of that growth story where India grows from 3 trillion to 15 trillion. And how do I contribute to that? There are only 3 ways where you can contribute massively: agriculture, manufacturing, or MSME, supporting MSME. So I have picked the MSME, and the best way you can support MSME is by lending them money, by allowing them the tools which nobody else is giving. So hence I'm focused only on unsecured loan. Banks are giving secured loans, which is basically taking collateral. So that part is done very well. I am going to be betting more on, my understanding of people. And on the basis of that, I'm going to be lending them money without any security, without any collateral. And be a part of that growth story of India, to take India from 3 trillion to the 15 trillion economy. That's how I've chosen this particular industry.
तो जब आप एक नए बिजनेस की जब शुरुआत करते हो तो आप अपना यूएसपी कैसे बनाते हो?
So this is also one fallacy which I think many people have. That what is the USP? Is USP only the thing which customer sees? Or is USP the thing which I just said that I am the only one who can afford to not charge convenience fees? By creating right business structures, by creating right team, by creating right operations, I've created a USP for myself, right? So hence, don't always see USP as something which customer sees. See USP in totality. And that is what I'm going to be doing with the NBFC.
Superb. Let's do a quick rapid fire before we wrap it up. It has gone quite long, and I know you have a cut-off time as well. खाना भी तो खाना है. खाना छोड़ दे. Okay, let's do a quick rapid fire, right? One habit that you think has contributed the most to your success.
Just I love reading. I'm very curious. If I meet any founder, I would want to know what is he building, why is he building, what space is he at. So in general, I think I have a wider understanding of various businesses, and it certainly helps one way or the other in current business, which
Being curious.
Being extremely curious.
So the moment he walked in, I had a set of questions to ask, and he started asking me questions. So podcast flip हो गया, मैं बोला चलो नीचे चलते हैं जल्दी. Awesome. What is the most expensive thing you own?
I guess this watch.
That's the most. What watch?
This is Hublot. I'm not gonna tell the price, but yeah.
My folks will Google it. Don't worry. What was your first salary at EaseMyTrip?
0 for the first 10 years. No salary.
घर कैसे चलाते थे?
Future self से borrow करे थे ना.
वहाँ कोई NBFC था क्या?
नहीं यार, I mean, so I worked in the US for 3-4 years, right? Decent salary. I was hired directly from the campus to work in the US. So वो 3-4 साल का saving था, थोड़ा बहुत लोन लिया हुआ था, उससे घर चला रहे थे.
What's your current salary? How many of you want to know this?
No, I mean, for example, as an entrepreneur of a public listed company, my salaries don't matter. What matters is the share price and where is it heading to, right? My net worth and my salaries are very, very different for that matter.
Okay, what's your net worth?
So as a family, our net worth is 6,000 crores.
He told 100 crores to all of you people. He's at 6,000.
I didn't say any number for anybody. All right? I just said that future borrow for yourself. And for us, it took 15 years. So I only said for 10 years.
What do you like doing in your free time?
What do I like doing in free time? There's a problem over there that whatever I start liking, I get extremely engrossed with it and I have to cut it off. So I have a problem with that. So I get deeply associated with whatever I start, and then eventually it becomes almost addictive and I have to cut it off. For example, what I recently cut off was chess. So I would spend almost 1.5 hours every day on playing chess. So I had to find ways. I was actually Googling how to stop playing chess. I know there's an answer as well over here. So I couldn't find any good answer around it, right? I tried ample amount of ways. I put VPNs, I put, all those things where the chess websites won't open. I deleted my account. None of that would work. None of that worked, right? Because chess is an amazing game. Like, if I were really free, I would continue to do it. But it's just that it's so engrossing, and it takes so much of your mental bandwidth to play that game that you feel exhausted afterwards. That is why I had to find ways to actually quit it. So I found the root cause of why I was not able to leave chess, and I was able to correct it. Since last 6 months, I'm sober. So this is what I did. I understood that everything is based upon my own ego of where my ranking is going. So there's LO ranking system. So my ranking was 1810, and so I contacted the LO ranking guys to delete my ranking, because if I just delete the account, my ranking doesn't die. My ranking continues. So I actually deleted my ranking, and then I felt like at least 100 kgs of weight were off my shoulders, because now it will take time to build that ranking again. So yeah.
Game theory works, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. That's pretty much for me. Thank you so much for coming around, and I hope you had a good time. I think
I hope the audience had a good time. So
they're still around. If they have questions, they'll walk up to you. You're still here for like 5 minutes.
I'm here for 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.